around the globe, and joining us today is Mr. Mohamed Elalfy, political analyst. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on Nile International. Sir, the Taliban announced its responsibility for several attacks in Pakistan to avenge the killing of al-Qaeda top leader Osama bin Laden. How do you see the security situation in Pakistan and Afghanistan?
First of all, the security situation in Pakistan and Afghanistan is this case of instability inside both countries. We are facing a case of instability in Pakistan and the case of occupation to Afghanistan. Both cases created by the United States. United States created most of the extreme movements. They create Taliban by the support of Pakistani intelligence agency and financed by United States. And they create the case of occupation inside Afghanistan also by the United States, and then after that they join most of the European countries. United States long time ago tried to control the world through the terrorism, to control many countries. Yeah.
U.S. President Barack Obama said in an interview yesterday to the BBC that he would order similar attacks to that of the killing of bin Laden if another militant leader appears in Pakistan or Afghanistan. Your comment?
His last statement to BBC several hours ago is it's something funny, because they create bin Laden and his gang. They are not Mujahideen. I never said those people Mujahideen. It's bin Laden and his gang. Al-Qaeda, they are criminals against all the human fields in the world. And the talk of bin Laden, of Obama, is not a serious talk, because bin Laden, one of the men in this world, and bin Laden and al-Qaeda was a part of a huge plan to the United States to control the world. And the chapter 1 now should be closed by killing bin Laden. But he said, I'm so proud of the U.S. intelligence agency, and also it's a great honor for me as a president of the United States to supervise this operation. This is not a reasonable talk. If you will create them to keep the situation and to keep the case of instability all over the world, to control the world, to save the reasons for the intervention, political intervention, military intervention, to lead the world, that is. We have to say to Obama, enough is enough, Mr. Obama, and look for a new strategy. Look the strategy of cooperation, not strategy of crisis to lead the world. That is, unfortunately, it's a silly novel or a story created by U.S. against the whole world, not against the Middle East only.
Should the U.S. be worried about its security?
No, the U.S., finally most of the people understand that U.S. is creating all these extreme movements to create enemies, to fight against them. Because if they will not create this case, the world will be in a case of instability. They needed instability instead of stability to control or to have the rights, or to let the people say that United States is not to change the face of America, instead of occupiers to the face of supporters to these countries to fight against terrorism. There is no terrorism if United States will close this silly story.
It took the U.S. 10 years to find and kill bin Laden. Do you think is it possible to eradicate the ideology of bin Laden?
They said 10 years, but unfortunately they used to launch lies daily. And between 2004 and 2005, bin Laden, the French intelligence members in Afghanistan said to the U.S. leaders, we are 20 to 25 meters between us and the site of bin Laden.
That was in Tora Bora.
Yes, and we can arrest him. They order them, don't take an action without the American leader order. Return back to the military station. And they return back. So that's mean United States use bin Laden and al-Qaeda to achieve many things before, like the presence of U.S. forces in the Far East. That's number one. Number two, to create the disaster of 9/11, to save the reasons to enter to Iraq, and to create the case of instability and to control the world. That is the idea of the old plan.
So that's why they didn't kill him in 2005?
Yes, and they said, the last...
But why did they take the action now?
They take the action now. And when we will try to remind ourselves by what Obama said and what the Pakistanis said. Obama said, and it's 40 minutes, the duration of this operation against, and he said this bin Laden in this area in Abbottabad since 2008. Why didn't arrest him? And he said by helicopters, this operation by helicopters. And how they enter to the Pakistani borders without the Pakistanis use anti-aircrafts against any aeroplanes try to cross my borders. It's also that's a question. And also the Pakistanis would try to make a modification to them statements because they would like to change it because the people didn't respect the Pakistanis issues. They said our fighters try to catch the helicopters, but they can't. That's incredible to believe, and you can ask any military expert how can the fighters can't get helicopters. That's number two. And the third one, they grave him in the sea. Where is bin Laden? There is no bin Laden. There is nobody. And he said in BBC several hours ago, we take a decision to kill him, not to arrest him. No. That is not true. If there is a real bin Laden died many years ago.
But I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
Al-Qaeda confirmed his death just this month.
The intelligence agency create Al-Qaeda and they create Taliban, and they are moving via orders. Al-Qaeda and bin Laden was puppets in the U.S. hands. That's the truth. And also, when there is nobody for bin Laden, we grave him in the sea. So anyone would like to see bin Laden should go to the sea to find him. That's incredible. And they publish a photo and they play to bin Laden, and they play by this photo by the program of Photoshop. And there is many comments in the electronic site. They said, down Photoshop. It's incredible to believe that is a talk of a great country like United States, and the officials would like to close now this in the stories in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Bin Laden was in chapter 1. They should close it, and they will concentrate to create a new character. They didn't create it yet. To fight against. They need enemy all times. That's the situation.
Bin Laden has been funding the operations of al-Qaeda. Who you think will be funding al-Qaeda in the coming period?
That is relay on the goals of the United States. Yes, that's relay on the goals.
Accounts that bin Laden has been living in Pakistan during the past 5 years raised questions about the Pakistani complicity with al-Qaeda. How true can that be?
In Abbottabad, there is a very important military site, Pakistani military site. That's one of the best to the Pakistani army. And do you think that is, if that is true, that is the Pakistanis don't know where is bin Laden? They know, And that is this, you can say the house of bin Laden in Abbottabad is near to this military site, this important military site, as a safe house of intelligence agency, but built by bin Laden himself.
How will bin Laden's death affect the U.S.-Pakistani relations and their joint efforts to fight al-Qaeda?
That's, as we said, close chapter 1, chapter 2, to say that we will fight against al-Qaeda, and of course, this U.S. private forces went to Pakistan by logistic support from the Pakistanis themselves. So they create the story. They create the next chapter of the story.
There are questions remaining about who will succeed bin Laden and the possibility that the Egyptian Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri will be his successor. Do you think he will? How strong will al-Zawahiri be, and will he act to prove strength or to avenge bin Laden's killing?
This bin Laden killing is a new stage according to the plan. Bin Laden killing, and they will select the next person to replace bin Laden according to their needs. Also, if they needed charismatic to give to launch the al-Qaeda ideas, or they needed weak character to close the whole story of al-Qaeda and bin Laden and his members. That is rely on the role of all these movements, extreme movements inside the U.S. plans.
Do you think with bin Laden's death, it's a chance to hasten the U.S. war in Afghanistan?
The U.S. war in Afghanistan is not against bin Laden or not against al-Qaeda. They create them to stay, to save the reasons to stay, because the presence of the U.S. forces inside Afghanistan is very important to control the Far East. Not because to fight al-Qaeda or Taliban. They create this two extreme movements to stay, to save the reasons to stay, and to control the Far East. The main reason is not al-Qaeda and is not Taliban. Yes.
Mr. Mohamed Elalfy, political analyst, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, dear viewers, we thank you all for being with us, and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International.
الطفل في عينه بريء وفي وشه احساس بريء، لسه جايب جلابيته النهارده وبينده وسط الطريق ويقول له يا جدو، ويمسك ايده ويشده ويقول له انا عايز اتوضى.